What's up, guys? What's happening? Hope you guys are well. So I received a lengthy email, and what I was gonna do was I was gonna try to address each paragraph one by one, because I feel like if I read the whole email, then I wouldn't be able to cover a few points that I would really want to cover, or hit a few points that I feel that I really need to address. So I'm gonna go paragraph by paragraph. I also pull it up on the video as well for you guys to read with me. Um, but yeah, here the email says, "Dear Ibrahim, I'm going to preface this email by saying, please don't judge me. It's not my intention to come off as harsh in this email, but in an effort to receive sincere advice, I'm going to try my best to be as honest as possible, even if that means risking rudeness." Okay. So the issue is, I'm talking to this guy, and for all intents and purposes, I think he is a mama's boy. Wow. I know a lot about that. He was raised by a single mother and is very much close to her and values her deeply. I love how close he is to her. And in the Desi Pakistani culture, it's quite normal for sons to be that close to their mothers. However, I fear his mother may influence the future relationship heavily. Well, you have a situation here where, a guy comes from a family of a single mother. His mother is playing the role of the father as well. So you have a situation here where a guy is close to his mom. He grew up with her. He respects her. He cherishes her. They probably went through a lot together. He felt her pain. She felt his pain, growing up without a father, and her not having a husband around. So they've shared a lot of experiences together. They have a lot of history together, and this is such a strong bond. I think a lot of girls may not truly understand. The term "mama boy" can be taken out of context. I know there are some guys who are really mama's boys, and there are some guys who really appreciate their moms, and they really go over and beyond for their moms, and they do everything that they can to make her happy and to be there for her and to make sure that she's satisfied with them. So here I'm sure he values her opinion, he values her advice, and she looks out for him and he looks out for her. Excuse me. And I think this is a relationship that you have to really tiptoe going into it, because a lot of you have to gauge the situation first before assuming that his mother may influence your relationship, because it may be a relationship where he understands or she understands there's a boundary, or he makes that boundary. He might be mature enough to make that boundary, or to make the right decisions based for his mother as well as his wife. So you have to really be careful here, because his mother is his everything, right? In a family dynamic where you have a father and a mother, I think it's easier to have a balance. But when you have someone who really appreciates their mother, and their mother plays both roles, I think that's a strong bond that you have to be careful of. And you say you do love how close he is to her, and I think you have to look at it from that perspective. You have to appreciate their connection, because it's easy to look at the negative side aspect of it, because sometimes mothers can be controlling, and some mothers really make it difficult for their sons to be with the woman he wants to be with. Sometimes mothers make decisions for their sons if he doesn't have that maturity to have that balance, and to also let his mother know that, hey, my relationship is also a little different than the relationship that we have. So that's something that you have to gauge him on, and see where he stands and how he is. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a mama's boy. I appreciate my mom. My mom was also a single mother, and who raised 3 boys. You can imagine 3 boys. And I'm thankful for her, and I appreciate her every day. And I don't think there's a day that in my heart, even if I don't say it, that I don't pray for her. So yeah. Second paragraph says, for example, we briefly spoke about lifestyle choices. I mentioned that despite me having an education, I may very well stop working fully when I have children, God willing. His mother interferes and says she worked full time and doesn't see why I can't do the same. Out of respect for his mother, I didn't argue with her. I just simply explained, though there are many women who choose to work and raise a family, I would prefer to just focus on my husband and kids since that is what my mother chose to do. I continued to explain my father was a provider and took on all the financial responsibilities, and because of that, um, my mother never had to worry about any bills or daily shopping expenses, even if she had her own income coming in because the men in my family take care of the woman. Well, this is a situation where you have different upbringings, right? For his mother to obviously, be shocked at the fact that you want to stay home and she's done it before with working full time and raising her kids, obviously she has a different upbringing and a different way of life that she grew up with. Yeah, his mother should be thinking that just because she did it, everyone else can do the same, or just because it worked for her doesn't mean it works for everyone, right? This is a case of what works for you two, and I think talking to him about it, you guys coming together and actually talking about it, and if he prefers you to, staying home and being a caretaker and you know taking care of your kids and your household, then I don't see anything wrong with that. This is a matter of, like I said, is he comfortable with that? Can he financially provide for you for you to be, at home, or will he face any difficulties? I think if you guys agree on the idea that you'll stay home and he'll be working, then yeah, that's where you guys can work together on that. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things. Honestly, there's certain things that uh, that the mother may share her opinions on, but I think it really comes down to the maturity of him and how he is and how he operates. Because yeah, she's giving you her she's giving him her opinion, which mothers will always do. But I think this is for him to gauge the situation, engage with you, and see what works for both of you. And if that works for both of you, you guys are the ones getting married, right? You guys are the ones have to really provide for one another. And if he's able to do that, then I don't see anything wrong. And if his mother says otherwise, then she says otherwise. But he doesn't have to go by what she says. And I think he has to gauge at what works for him, because he'll be dumb to really make decisions based on what other people think and what worked for other people, as opposed to looking at his situation and seeing what works for him, because he's the one that's going to be responsible for his kids, for his wife, and his household. Um, yeah. Third paragraph. This apparently sent the mother into a frenzy, and she started on me whether I was questioning me on whether I was marrying her son for financial reasons or out of love. I ended up walking away and not arguing with her. Her son followed behind me and apologized, but he didn't respectfully check his mother at all. There was absolutely no leadership skills on his part. I understand that his mother struggled raising her children all alone, but just because that was her experience doesn't mean she could sentence me to a life of the same fate. True. I will not apologize for not expecting that my future husband fully provide for me and our future children, God willing. If she truly wants her son to work, perhaps he would be better off marrying a strong, independent type of woman. But that is not me. I am very traditional. I think the man should be the head of the home, and his woman should be the beautiful and supportive wife. Again, matter of personal opinions, right? What you think and how you feel about that situation, and what she feels. There's something that you pointed out here. You said, but he didn't respectfully check his mother at all. There was absolutely no leadership skills on his part. I think that maturity is also knowing what things to respond to and what things to shed that light on and what things to bring attention to. Not everything needs checking, certain things you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go over your head. Like it's cool. Like, yeah, she mentioned a few things, but everything doesn't need checking. You don't need to make it bigger than what it is, because it may not be big. It just may be a strong opinion, and he doesn't need to go chasing after everything his mother says, because if you think that's what he's gonna do, some guys don't do that, and I don't think I wouldn't do that, because there are a lot of things that our mothers may say. It doesn't need checking. Yeah, there's certain things there's certain things out of line where, yeah, you have to really say, hey, mom, that's not the way to go. That's not, with wisdom, obviously. But things like, checking her, whether she thought you were marrying him for financial reasons or out of love, like, you don't need to check that. Like, she said that, okay, and that's your relationship is different, right? Your connection with him is different. So he came to you, he apologized. He doesn't need to check his mom, because I wouldn't check my mom in that situation, because that's she says it, like, you don't want to create more problems. You don't want to create other issues. You don't want to make the mother feel like, she, like, the son is out against her either. You don't want the mother to feel like that either. Like, I can see how the mother can also feel very low and very hurt if he does go over there and says, hey mom, you need to like, no, certain things, okay, like, this also, you also have to understand, you also have to be, you have to come from a place of maturity as well, and understand that she will say some things that may not go hand in hand with what you think and what you envision for yourself. But again, you're marrying her son, right? That's the person you have to really get to know and find out who he really is, and his level of maturity. And he's the one who's going to be leading you. So you should put strong effort and in getting to know him, as opposed to what his mother might be saying. So yeah, she took it out of context, obviously, but it is what it is. Like, yeah, and you go on to say at the end, I will not apologize for expecting my future husband to fully provide for me. Again, that goes to what you guys are comfortable with. If he thinks he's okay with that, then by all means, you don't have to really be too hard on it. Like, yeah, get to know one another. If he's cool with it, you're traditional. Is he traditional? Is he with it? If he is, then yeah, that's it. You don't gotta create more situations, more problems than there needs to be. If you said, I think the man should be the head of household, and again, your opinions, right? If he's in agreement with it, it works for both of you. Next paragraph. I just feel like the mother has it out for me. For example, after her son came back from the gym, I made a fun, harmless comment about how all men love men with muscles, and especially men who lift weights. She decided to take what I said out of context and say I was lusting after her son. Beg your pardon, does she not understand he's interested in me for marriages, and I marry her son will do more than talking? I'm shocked at her display of immaturity, but I'm even more shocked at his inability to stand up for himself or those he loves. I want to fight her and protect her. Excuse me. And I just don't know if I ever will feel safe around him. Honestly, I don't know what kind of connection you have with his mother. But clearly from the first few paragraphs, it's not much of a connection. So I don't know if I would make this kind of a comment, or say, or make these kind of opinions, or say, share my opinions with her about these kind of situations. Yeah, you're gonna be marrying her son. You're gonna be having kids with him, right? There's a process that goes into that. So she knows that, and she's not naive to that. But I think with any mother, she might feel some type of way regardless of what you say. Especially if you make comments like that. It's, relationship's it's not all there yet. Like, you don't know her like that. I don't know if you know her like that, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's not much of you don't know who she is. She doesn't know who you is. Like, the vibe is not there. If there's not a true connection, years of connection where you can throw out these opinions and comments. But yeah, I wouldn't. If it was me, I wouldn't make that comment. But since you did, she did take it out of context. Yeah. But it's not for you to say, does she not understand he's interested in me for marriage, and I marry her son will do more than talking. Yeah, she knows that. She's not naive to that. He said, I am even more shocked at his inability to stand up for himself or those he loves. This is one of those things you don't want to check, right? Just let it go over your head. Like, it's okay. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to really just let it go. She took this out of context. Yeah, I mean, he could say, "Hey, mom, that's not what she meant. She really didn't mean it like that. She really came from a very opinionated place. This is might be the thought of some woman. So yeah, he could have said that, but if he didn't say that, would it really be harmful? No. Um, just like I said, it's maturity knowing when to respond and what things to give attention to. But I don't think you should judge based on this. I don't think you should judge him on whether he's going to protect you or whether he's going to fight for you based on this situation. I think these situations are really small situations. Yeah, it could lead to bigger things, but getting to know him would really find out if these things are really a bigger impact or would be a bigger impact down the line. Next paragraph. All in all, I want a confident masculine man, not an uncertain, timid boy. This isn't even an age-related issue. The guy is almost 6 years older than me. This is about character. This is about his character. I understand he was not raised with his father around him, but he's old enough to be able to come into his masculinity should he choose. A husband is a leader and an imam of the house. He's the one who makes the final decision. He's supposed to be confident and assertive. I worry that he won't be able to live up to this. This absolutely has nothing to do with his mom and everything to do with him. A real man would be patient with their mom, but understand that with marrying a woman, wait, where was I? I worry that he won't be able to live up to this. This absolutely has nothing to do with his mom and everything to do with him. A real man will be patient with their mom, but understand that with marrying a woman, another man's daughter, he has to be fair. Yeah. Again, it goes back to him. It goes back to you getting to know him. What type of guy is he? Have you noticed, certain? Have you noticed other things that sort of brought out his character that you didn't agree with? And again, considering that he wasn't raised by his father, and that he may not have a true sense of masculinity. I mean, he might have. You can learn from other people, right? If he has uncles, if he has other people that he can learn from, because masculinity could be a lot of things. But again, this is getting to know him, seeing where he's at, how confident is he, how is his character, because it looks like you really don't know each other very well if you're questioning certain things, and you don't have a clear picture of who he is, and kind of what kind of things he's up to. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting to know him, seeing where he stands, seeing his confidence, like where is he, what else? Yeah. And you said this absolutely has nothing to do with his mom and everything to do with him. Again, if you got his mother out of the picture, it leaves you with you and him. So you have to really get to know him. So the last paragraph here, it says. So the last paragraph here, it says he has the power to change, but I fear the damage has already been done to him, and he may not be able to change. I fear he will always be soft, easy manipulated, and without the ability to command respect from others. I want a man I can submit to, not a man that I pity and is truly ashamed because he is a great guy. You go on and say, what should I do? Can you please make a video response to this? I tried speaking to him, but it was to no avail. And out of respect for his mother, I dropped the conversation because I didn't want to look like I was trying to come in between them. I know it's not his fault or how he grew up. I know his father should have been there for him. Excuse me. I know his mother should have made sure good male figures were in his life to teach him about manhood. However, I just feel at the age he's at now, he should take personal accountability for himself and strive to be twice the man. He should be the man his father never was, while also being the man he is today. If he was that, I would gladly marry him. If he was that, I would be proud to call him my husband. Wow. You fear that damage has already been done, that he may not be able to change. I don't know how long you've known this person. I don't know. I don't have a lot to work with, right? But you say a lot of statements here. You also fear he will always be soft, easy, manipulated, and without the ability to command respect from others. You don't know. You fear, right? a lot of things is fear, and a lot of what may stop you from something great, or what may stop you from getting to know someone, someone who might be good for you, is a lot of fear. A lot of what ifs, a lot of thoughts that are in the back of your head about what this person can become and how this person can become. A lot of that can be erased or minimized by truly, truly getting to know each other for a certain period of time. I don't know if you know him for a week or two. If it is, I would say it's too little to gauge anything. Um, Normally, I would say 3 to 6. Some might say 6 months to 3 to 6 months. Some might say 6 months to a year. So until you feel comfortable, until these fears and these thoughts in the back of your head sort of either disappear or minimize, and you feel like, hey, I will always have these fears. There's certain fears that will always be there because you're not married, right? You're getting married. So there's certain fears that will always be there, and that may, you may overcome in the marriage, or it may not even present itself because you're just, the devil may be just making you think about these things. So it may not even come to life. So there's certain fears that you will have to go into marriage with. But then there's other fears that you can talk to him about, that you guys can really sit down and see where you stand with certain things, and see what your fears are. Tell him what your fears are, and how you want to go about it. And maybe in getting to know him a little bit longer would sort of minimize all these thoughts. And you say you want a man to submit, you want a man to submit to, and not someone who you pity, and it's truly a shame because he's a great guy. So yeah, get to know him. That's what this email screams. Get to know him. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know the guy you're dealing with, because if you did, these questions wouldn't really be all there. Yeah, there's certain situations that made you think that there may be a little bit of a problem, but I don't think they're big enough to where there could be a problem. I think if he has a set of boundaries, if he knows his limits, if he knows, where to draw the line, if he knows his mother will always be his mother, and that you are going to be his wife, that there's certain levels of like, there's two different relationships, and you have to deal with them differently. Yeah, there might be situations where the mother may not appreciate what you're doing for her son, just because of out of a mother's love, or out of what a mother would do for her son. I don't think a wife can do, because a mother truly has that deeper love for her son. So some things she might look at and be like, why couldn't you do this? She would do it because out of true immense love, out of her being his mother. But she won't understand that the wife sometimes can't really go to that extent, or can't do it the way she does it. And so yeah, there's certain things that will always be different, and he has to understand that, and he has to make those boundaries and limits, and deal with both relationships in a different way. So get to know him, see where he stands. I feel like I've been saying that the whole video. Get to know him, and yeah, hopefully these things sort of decrease with time, and decrease with getting to know one another. He could be a man, or he is a man, and maybe you'll find out certain things that really, he stands different with you. Maybe you might come to find out that you might not even want all this, right? He might be the person you're describing. He might be the soft, easy, manipulated person. He might choose his mother in certain situations that may come down the line, and then you might have a clear picture of whether you want to continue with it or not. But everything you just mentioned here, I don't think it's 100% something you should really make a decision on. We'll see what the future entails. But yeah, I appreciate the email. Sorry to make this video longer than it needed to be, but I really wanted to address it as much as I could, because it is a lengthy email, and I wanted to give it the justice that it deserved. So yeah, I appreciate that.